Travis Hancock, WFNZ in Charlotte. He and it was Mac and Bone show in the morning. It should be the Bone and Mac, but I think if people said that too fast, everybody would think it's a different thing. So Travis Hancock at T-Bone WFNZ joins us here on the Adam Gold Show. Do you even remember the last time you did a Monday show off a Panthers loss?
It's a new world. Look, I read the power rankings today, and there was a lot of disrespect about the Panthers still being in the 20s. And right now, we don't even know how to handle ourselves because, the Chiefs lose, the Panthers don't lose again. I'm not saying we're on top of the football world, Adam, but we're so close to maybe getting mentioned on ESPN at some point this season.
No, that's not going to happen. The now late Mercury Morris. I did get that right? He passed away not that long ago.
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Who I actually used to talk with on the radio from time to time whenever a team finally lost their first game of the season. Morris always reminded you that nobody could ever do better than the Dolphins. They would never, ever not be the best team in NFL history because 0 losses could not be beaten. So using that lot, even if the Patriots had won that Super Bowl, right, 16-0 in the regular season, they would have been 19-0 with the playoffs. In Mercury Morris's eyes, it wouldn't have been better than 17-0. I'm not. Right. Well, sure. Crazy, but fine. You do what you got to do to keep your legacy alive. So, using that logic, there's no hotter team in the NFL than the Panthers?
No, we've had 3 straight Mondays without talking about a loss. It's almost unheard of in recent memory here. We'll see. This might be tough to get 4 in a row because I don't know if you know this, but the Chiefs might not be too happy with their loss to Buffalo. They come in 11-point favorites on the road. But people get mad when we say this, Adam, and you may too. I don't know your thoughts on it, but
we're not going to get mad.
In this particular game against the Chiefs, the Panthers can win something without winning the game.
Oh,
they can show out and show progress and at least challenge the Chiefs to some degree because the Panthers of recent memory would just you write down 41-6 and it's over. They to think they're going to win, it's pretty high living, but can they at least push the Chiefs and gain something out of it? That's what I say. I hate to be moral victory man,
right,
but I think there's something with this one here.
Well, I'm not into moral victories, but I also think that you must put everything in a proper context. Dave Canales in some ways gave it away when he announced Bryce Young as the starting quarterback. And I want to play that clip for you in a second, just to get your thoughts on the back half of it. But when he said, this is about developing Bryce Young. So Bryce is going to play again this week. It'll be his 4th consecutive start. And the last 2, even though if you looked at it statistically speaking, the first start was the best of the 3. If you just looked at the stats, you would have gone, man, he was really good that first game. No, they weren't any good. The offense was terrible. And the offense looked much better the last 2 starts, and he looked much better the last 2 starts. But so there is progress. So what I have wanted from this season all along, from the very beginning, has nothing to do with wins and losses. It has everything to do with, does Bryce Young look like he is a quarterback that can play in this league? And that's all I would be focused on. If the Panthers got to that point, and maybe they should have been there all year long anyway, that's really the goal should be. And we shouldn't have this debate about whether or not Bryce Young is going to be the starting quarterback the rest of the season.
Well, we try not to look at stats around here because sometimes you look at the stats and it may not make you feel good about the teams in the Charlotte metro area. So to your point, outside of the numbers, it's the way that he played. He's playing with a joy again. He's excited to be out there. He's smiling. He's doing first down points.
Yeah.
Like we're back in 2015 and he's like a smaller version of Cam. He's running to grab his helmet when the Giants fumble, and he's that there was a joy there in wanting to be out there. It felt like for the first year and change, it was a struggle for him to be out there, almost like he would look to the bench like, help me, get me out of here. Right now, we hope it continues to be better numbers, but there's an element of joy and happiness that Bryce came into the league with that was lost when he first got here, but he seems to have found that right now a little bit more, and that's what I'm looking at is he confident? Is he comfortable? And then we hope that translates to more passing yards and more success.
Travis Hancock, Mac and Bone in the morning, WFNZ in Charlotte. You have to improve your guest list on Tuesdays. At T-Bone WFNZ. I want you to hear Dave Canales announcing Bryce Young as the quarterback, and then really the second two-thirds of this is the stuff that really stood out to me. But here's Dave Canales. You probably have heard this, but I want everybody to hear it again anyway. Canales names Bryce the starter.
Bryce will play this week. Again, this is about the continued progress. This is about Bryce, looking more and more confident, as he's out there in Germany. Just felt a real confidence and just an aggressiveness to his play and all those things. And of course, the end result, winning, So he continues to do things that put us in a position to put him back out there and continue to build on that.
Does he sound like he was ready for that? Was he prepared for that?
Maybe to some degree, but I will say he's had some doozies of some answers this year where we go, what in the world? At least that one felt a little more human. There are some answers where he feels like he's a talking head in a true crime documentary talking about Bryce Young and he's a missing person. At least in this one, he sounded very prepared, but he sounded more genuine than I think he does at times talking about Bryce. So that's better than I've heard him sound
really?
At times when talking. Yeah,
my gosh, yeah. The bar is low. The bar. He sounded like the best man who doesn't realize he has to give a speech at the wedding too.
It's true, but the bar here. You're right. We also heard Matt Rule for 2 years talk. So anything is. The most unprepared.
He was Porky Pig.
Presser guy. Yeah, he was. He was the most unprepared press conference guy in the history of sports. They'd ask him like, "Hey, why'd you go for it on fourth down?" It's like you didn't think that make that's just hypothetical. But he never thought before he got up there of I may have to answer questions about my horrible decisions. But yeah, Canales. Not quite Matt Rule, but there are answers where you say, yeah, we've got to work on that a little bit.
Let me ask you, Travis Hancock from WFNZ in Charlotte is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. Let me just ask you about a couple of other things about the team. And I'm going to leave the defense alone. The defense is what it is. It looked better against the Giants. I think they can still be run on extensively, and I think the Chiefs will probably try to lean on that coming up on Sunday. But Xavier Legette has certainly looked like, there's something there. And there should be because they traded up into the first round to get him. But Jalen Coker looks like there's something there. Jatavian Sanders looks like there's something there. Now they're getting Adam Thielen back. Now, I don't anticipate Thielen really being there next year. Maybe he will. I doubt it. But I guess you could, depending on how much cap room you've got. They have so many other things to do. What's your feeling on the skill position development for this team?
Great job by Dan Morgan, and I think getting Diontae Johnson out of there was paramount to getting all these guys even more touches. We had heard from some sources very close to the situation about how difficult Diontae was from the get-go, like from the opening week of the season, that they knew this wasn't going to work, and Dan Morgan was having to call every team in the league. And Baltimore was the one that had to be talked into taking him, so that's how bad his reputation was. And Coker undrafted. That's the thing there. There's two undrafted players on the roster right now playing very well. Coker on offense, Richardson in the secondary on defense. And to get hidden gems the last couple of years, we couldn't get some of the top-of-the-line guys to play well, never mind the undrafted guys.
Right.
So that's a feather in the cap for Dan Morgan. Sanders looks like a beast at tight end. He looks like he's going to be the number one tight end for a long time. We get is a is a force both on the field and the reaction from the fans. If he continues to succeed, everyone's going to want his jersey for the dollar bill dance.
Yeah.
And they're all emerging together. It's a pretty cool thing. 2 wideouts, a tight end. Jonathan Brooks comes back, we think, this week. And with the way the offensive line's performed and the compliment to Chuba that he's going to be, but the offense is starting to show signs. Now, someone's going to have to emerge as a number 1 wideout at some point. Maybe that's not on the roster yet. We don't know where
Right.
that's trending, but definitely the depth of the offensive skill players. And that's something that's pretty cool to watch the rest of the way. It's not about the amount of wins. It's about the growth of Bryce and these young skill guys. And last week, it's been the skill guys that we've talked about for Dan Morgan. On the other side last week, all the vet free agent signings showed out in Germany. So I really can't say enough about the job so far that I think Dan Morgan's done in trying to at least establish something. Skill guys, defensive vets have played well recently, and the offensive line, oh my goodness, one of the best in football for the whole season so far.
Well, the offensive line has had to deal with some injuries too. So it'd be good to see him just play well. Again, my bar is simply I want Bryce to look like a quarterback who can play in this league. I'm convinced, however, that Bryce Young won't be the quarterback here next year. That they are going to utilize decent enough play to salvage something in the trade market, but I could be wrong. Real quick, before I let you go, Travis Hancock from WFNZ in Charlotte, how jazzed is everyone for the NBA Cup tonight? Charlotte is, I believe, at Brooklyn. They're 0-1 in Group A of the Eastern Conference. They got to get a win, chasing Orlando and the Knicks that are both 2-0.
Well, I appreciate you because as one of the hosts of the Hornets pregame show, I forgot this was a Cup game tonight. I lost track that this was an NBA Cup game. So
Tuesdays and Fridays, man. Tuesdays and Fridays.
Right. That's friendship right there. You knew I might be struggling with that. No, it's not a whole lot of NBA Cup talk yet. I'm sure as it goes along, there'll be more. We're excited for the way LaMelo Ball's played offensively, especially, and Brandon Miller's really, really struggled, and that's an ongoing thing to watch. And as always here, we wait for players to come back from injury, Mark Williams and Nick Richards, and we have not seen Mark Williams since right after last Thanksgiving. That is a long time for a big man, and there's a lot of concerns with he had the back, and now he got hurt. We think he was at the media photo shoot, and next thing you know, he was at Atrium Health Center. I don't know what happened in the photo shoot, but we have not seen Mark Williams all year. So there's excitement, but there's trepidation, and with the Hornets, it's always hold your breath and hope that the roster stays intact for a period of time that it normally doesn't. But yeah, NBA Cup tonight. Obviously, I knew all about it, right? Duh.
As for Mark Williams, you thought action photos was just a term. It's reality when it comes to Mark Williams.
Jeez.
Travis Hancock, Mac and Bone in the morning, WFNZ at T-Bone WFNZ. If I don't speak to you before that, I'll talk to you Tuesday.
Hey, let's just hope that, if somehow Taylor Swift shows up on Sunday, David Tepper doesn't throw a drink on her because that could be an international incident.
She's going to be busy. She's got a show in Toronto, doesn't she?
They're coming off a loss, though. They might need her. They might need to bring her in.
That is true. That is true. She wasn't in Buffalo, and Buffalo is a whole lot closer to Toronto than Charlotte is. All right, Mac, I'll talk to you later. No, not my Mac. I just called you Mac.
Yeah, this is tough.
Oh my gosh!
I got to tell you, Alan, I thought we were better than this. All right, man. I won't take offense to that. I've been called worse. Well, not really, but I like to say that.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later. I'm
man.
so sorry. Oh my gosh! What the hell?
He should have called you Victoria. He should have
called me Alan. He called me Alan
he did
instead.
Call you that
My
one.
gosh.
I know.
That's just so bad.